Hello, hello. Good morning, and my voice feels a little harsh. But here we go anyway. It's good to see everybody. So we're talking about the latest drama. The latest. Pulling up a feed real quick. Taking a few seconds, going to select a live source. So we're talking about Jimmy Kimmel doubling down on all this, and it's kind of crazy. Yeah, a lot of it's wild to me, man. So personally, I think Trump is innocent in all this. The more I read about this, the more I hear about this, the more I think it's like, I think the affiliates were just tired of Kimmel. I don't know if the FCC was really trying to coerce anybody. Like, that's the more I look into this, it's like, dude, Kimmel's ratings are just bad. He's not funny. Like, he's just legitimately not funny. And it's understandable that some of the affiliates would be like, yeah, there's better programming out there than a guy who is accusing an alleged shooter of being MAGA when the facts say otherwise. So I think just a lot of affiliates are fed up with him, And can you blame them? I mean, dude, Jimmy Kimmel, I got to admit, is very insufferable. I have trouble watching that show, man. He's too politically one way, and he cries so much about, like, he'll cry about legitimate things, and then he'll cry about the weirdest things. Like, I don't know. It's like The View for Democrat men. That's the best way I could describe Jimmy Kimmel. Now, he does have inklings of being funny. I will give him props. He still has the funny gene. All right? He still has that ability. But at the same time, he's just so insufferable, So, let's see. Bro, why do you get so much hate? Haters gonna hate, brother. Sometimes it happens, man. Sometimes people do not like me. That's probably because I, put down, send me a super chat, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, this show just does what it does, man. The show's taking on an identity of its own sometimes. But yeah, I have no clue why I get so much hate. I think it's just a lot of people are jealous that that I got a following and that people actually do like me. Give me just a second. Give me a few more seconds. I'm just doing a little bit of research on everything. Yeah, I mean, people hate, man. It's not really, people don't like the show. Some people don't. Look, I'm like Logan Paul. 80% people hate me. 20% of the people love me. That's just the way it is, man. It's just the way it is. And the people who hate me, they can't stop watching. They just can't stop watching, and they can't stop giving me super chats because they love my pussy. They do. But yeah, no, there's a lot of weird hate on the chat. I still don't always get it, but we try our best. We try our best. One moment. Thank you for the vine, though. Thank you for the vine. Just getting a few things sorted out, everybody. Thank you for your patience. Now, why do you think it is that everybody hates? Why do you think it is that everybody hates the show? Give me just a few moments, though. I am going to put a poll up in just a few moments. Make sure you guys subscribe and like to the channel. The chat is open, but I'm answering super chats first. Drop one to skip the line, and I'll read it live on screen. I'll react to it, and I'll pin the highlights. So just as a heads up. Let's keep going. So based on a lot of the news here, yeah, Kimmel definitely seems to be doubling down on all this. Let's see. So Reuters is saying that Kimmel's first show back after a 6-day suspension drew 6.26 million viewers. Wow, the highest for a regularly scheduled Jimmy Kimmel Live in a decade. That just proves how unpopular he's been. I think people forgot he existed. I think people probably forgot that he was still going on. The monologue addressing his controversial remark tied to the killing of activist Charlie Kirk had also exploded on social, while some affiliates, Sinclair Nexstar, still preempted the show. Political blowback and even FCC saber rattling were part of the backdrop Kimmel pushed against in defending satire and free speech. Here's the thing. The more I look into this, I even watched now Tim Pool's not always the most reliable source, but I do think he means well. I was listening to Tim, did I say Tim Smith or Tim Pool? I can't remember. Anyway, I was watching a Tim Pool video earlier, and what he was saying was there really wasn't any FCC interference at all, is what it's lining up to be. It's lining up that the affiliates, some of the affiliates are just not digging what he's putting down. I think they're pissed because nobody watches his show. Could this have been a publicity stunt? I think there's a possibility of that. Just to let you guys know, I think there's a possibility. It's crazy. It's wild. Let's see. Political blowback and even FCC saber rattling were part of the Kimmel pushes. Yeah, okay. The Guardian says, in summary, his comeback monologue set a personal YouTube record, 15 million views in 16 hours. That is pretty good. Of course, everybody was wanting to know, what was this guy going to say? You know, people love controversy. This is controversy, man. 101, controversy 101. They love it. They eat it up. Let's see. Despite some ABC affiliates declining to air the episode, the piece recaps the suspension's politics and Kimmel's framing of it as a free speech issue. Absolutely. I mean, look, like I say, I keep telling you guys, if the FCC was involved in coercing the affiliates in any way, or even coercing ABC to shut Kimmel down permanently, that's a big deal. That is a very big deal. But if they weren't, if the affiliates made these decisions on their own without any coercion, any collusion even, then that's a Jimmy Kimmel issue, and he's just not funny anymore. People, look, television's about ratings, all right? If you're not getting the ratings, if you're not bringing in the dough, it's like the news. For instance, nobody watches CNN anymore because they don't trust CNN. We don't trust the mainstream media at all. Virtually nobody does. There's a very select few, mainly boomers who lean left, who will watch the news. I will admit there are old people who lean right that watch Fox News. I don't really trust Fox News very much. I do think that they're just as much of a propaganda network as any. But if I were to choose which one I think is more of a propaganda network, I would probably go with MSNBC versus Fox News is at least tolerable. I feel like MSNBC is just too crazy for me. Fox News is more mellow. I think it's why I dig it, if I have to watch it. But I don't really like to watch the news. I don't like watching mainstream media at all. I'll watch like Tucker Carlson, on YouTube. I think Tuck is great. I can't stand Tim Pool. Tim Pool, there's something about him. And then there's this dude on YouTube that I gotta just say, he's called The Quartering. I can't stand that dude either. That dude, just something about him pisses me off. I think it's because he tries so hard to be masculine. He's just too feminine for me. I don't know. Too femmy. I don't know. And I don't mind feminine people, feminine dudes. What I'm trying to say is, if you're trying to be masculine and have this big old bushy beard and trying to be masculine, but you just seem so bloody and feminine, it's just like, what's the point? That's my little mini rant of the day, by the way. Sorry about that. Sometimes Daddy-O goes on mini rants, I'll tell you. Anyway, let's keep the show rolling. You guys ready? Let's see. Los Angeles Times says ratings recap in context. The return episode scored 6.3 million broadcast viewers in massive online reach, turning the hiatus into a broadcaster debate over government pressure and network decisions. Now, the more I look into this, the more I don't think the FCC was really all that involved. That's the way I look at it, man. And then there's AP News, this one's September 23rd, 24th, saying reports on Kimmel's emotional return. He said he wasn't trying to joke about a tragedy, and notes that some affiliates continue to refuse carriage even as the show resumes on ABC. That's the whole point. They said, dude, we're just not going to show his show because it sucks. I'm starting to think, because look, his ratings are not good, by the way. Kimmel's ratings are just not that good. And they probably pay him an arm and a leg just to be on the air. It doesn't sound profitable to me. That's my take on it. It just doesn't seem profitable. It just doesn't even seem equitable, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let's take a look at some of the comments real quick. Subscribe and like. Chat is open, but I'm answering super chats first. Drop one to skip the line. I'll read it on screen, react, and pin highlights. Roadkill says, hi, hey, brother. What up, Roadkill 101? Dodge MF says the guy with 4 viewers, no irony whatsoever. David Bradford said, Garza? David Bradford also says, weren't you just in somebody's live? I mean, was somebody reacting to my videos, David? Let's see. Belisarus says, is this the guy who wears the toilet seat on his head? Probably. That may be me. That is me. Greetings. What up, dude? What's going on, my brony brother? Let's keep going. CBS News, September 23rd, said Nexstar confirms it will keep preempting Kimmel, mirroring Sinclair, saying it will monitor the show as it returns, explains the station group dynamics behind who can see the program over the air. Al Jazeera says handy explainer on where to watch and who's boycotting station groups, plus a quick refresher on the controversy and what Kimmel said in his monologue. Here's the thing. The ratings show that people weren't watching anyway. The only reason people are watching now is because of the controversy. Like I said, People love controversy. And this counts. I mean, I'm not against wearing a toilet seat around my neck and talking. I could do that. Admittedly, that would be kind of fun. I'm not saying I should do that. But nothing's stopping me, man. Les says skibbity. Skibbity? Alright, whatever. Song Jones. Hey, Garza. What up, Song? How you doing? Well, Belissaris says there's a guy lives and wears a toilet seat on lives and he sings songs. Now, I do sing a lot of songs. In fact, I do plan on doing some karaoke a little bit later if you guys want to. If you guys want some material to wank to. Let's see. Ouch, my finger is asking where all the wow women at. I don't know. I mean, I'm here. I'm here. I've been accused of being a white woman before. Nightbot says regular chat equals background convo. Super chats equals a guaranteed response. Plus, on-screen shout out. I worship super chats. I simp for super chats. Let's keep going. Baleris says you are the double of him. I'm a wide dude. I'm a refrigerator, brother. I'm a refrigerator. I also got a jump shot for days, dude. Boom. I'm the man. However, it would be fun to wear a toilet seat around my neck. If it got views, man. If it got the views, I mean, I'm not opposed to it if it gets views, man. 'Cause I will do anything for views, but I won't do that. People magazine says human interesting. So here's a bit of a human interest angle. During his suspension, Kimmel's mom cooked for him relentlessly, even bringing face cookie treats to the studio. The piece also recaps the controversy and the affiliates still off the air. Interesting. People also says in night 2, Kimmel responded to Donald Trump's posted test ABC threat, dissecting the message during his monologue and keeping the political thread alive in his response. Here's the problem with Kimmel, though. Like I said, his ratings were crap. Nobody was watching him. That's the point I'm trying to make. I mean, the toilet seat man, and I quote, okay, is this him? He's tagging Song, wondering, is this him? Song is saying this is not him, but he does look like the guy. I do probably look like the guy. I wouldn't be surprised. I look like the kind of guy who would wear a toilet seat around my neck. Admittedly. I look like that kind of guy. Is it not? Oh! You guys are out of your mind. I appreciate it. Let's see here. What else we got here? Hollywood Reporter says the coverage of Night 2 as Kimmel returns to typical rhythm, including sharpened jabs at Trump after the high-drama return episode. Interesting. I mean, it looks like... Here's the thing. It looks like Kimmel is doubling down on a potential lie. Look, I can't claim whether he's lying or not, but he's lied before. He even lied about the alleged shooter. Look, there was so much evidence at the time when he made that original monologue about the shooter, the alleged shooter, that the shooter wasn't even MAGA. All that information was put out there. Kimmel knowingly lied about that, and it's possible that Kimmel's lied on multiple occasions to set up a political agenda. That's my problem with Kimmel. I want to believe he's sincere, or he could just be so insane that he believes all of his lies. That is also possible. Kimmel might be that insane. And it's possible that Kimmel and Trump have more in common than they realize. I do think both of them are kind of egomaniacs. I really do. I think Kimmel's more of a pussy than Trump, but I think they're both egomaniacs. They both have levels of narcissism. You kind of have to have levels of narcissism to do a late night show or run a business. You know what I mean? I'm not against narcissists, by the way. I think narcissism, believe it or not, can be a good trait if you're a leader of a company. Shockingly. I know. But we live in a society where, and by the way, we live in a society filled with narcissists. They're just not rich or successful. Go on social media and check how many narcissists there are in any local Facebook group. Crazy. Overly political Karens. Just dumb. Really dumb. I think I'm a little bit of a narcissist. I'll admit it. But everybody is. It's just being willing to admit it. Now, people are afraid to admit that they have levels of narcissism. Granted. It happens. Anyway, let's read some more of the chats. Billy Harris says, the guy smears feces on the seat, though. Would you do that? I bet you it isn't real feces, though. Here's the thing. What I would do is this. Check this out. I don't think he's putting real feces, but then again, if he's that mentally ill, then he probably is. But what I would do, hold on, let me answer this real quick. What is a narcissist? It's a certain personality trait. Somebody who is willing to not have ethics, basically, to accomplish a goal. Somebody who's willing to basically, for instance, kill somebody to get an objective, that sort of thing. I don't have an exact definition, but people sling the word all over the place to where I don't even know what the word means anymore. Somebody who's really into themselves, I guess. People actually confuse confidence with narcissism a lot. Like, I'm really confident, for example. People confuse that with narcissism. Maybe it is. And if it is narcissism, fuck it. I'm a narcissist then. Who cares? That's fine. I'm confident. It's why I'm able to get to where I want to go, because I am supremely confident. You know what I mean? I'm fine with that. Now, back to this question. I would put chocolate pudding on the toilet seat to make it look like feces if I were to do that. I would smear it with chocolate pudding. But I wouldn't put real feces on there. That's just weird. A narcissist is someone that thinks only about themselves. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. And the thing is, it's like, the best thing, and I think everybody's a narcissist, because everybody does have to be selfish. People do have to think about themselves. There's nothing wrong, by the way, with thinking about your life and where you want to go. Like, that's not narcissism. In fact, should be common sense, but it's not. Everybody's so focused on everybody else that they never focus on improving themselves. That's a problem to me. I want to see people improve themselves. Like, I legitimately do, and I wish more people would focus on themselves. I think if everybody focused on their goals and their accomplishments, the world would be actually a better place, if I'm going to be truly honest with you guys. Give me a second, folks. Trump slide over 37,000 times. Lied. Kimmel, the comedian, Trump's president. Yeah, whatever. He sees batshit crazies in the house, dude. My boy. Member of the program. The GOAT. Batshit crazy in the house, brother. My boy. You guys are going to have to give me a few seconds. I'm actually setting up a super chat goal. I'm kind of curious what this looks like in the chat, though. I'm very curious what this looks like. I'm trying to put the super chat goal. Super chat's read first. What does that look like? Give me one moment, though. I'm just configuring something real quick. Just a quick configuration. Okay, that kind of is interfered real quick. Give me a second here. Let me put Nightbot up a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to put the super chat goal, the condensed super chat goal, right below it. Laugh out loud. Give me 1 second, folks. Going to align this real quick. All right, let's keep going. Granite says, Mac, we need to go on the Jimmy Kimmel show. Do we? It sounds like an insufferable experience, though, man. Oh, man, Kimmel is just, I don't obviously want to see Kimmel canceled. I'm not a big fan of the whole cancel culture thing. People are being canceled, man. I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan at all. I think stuff like that needs to stop, without a doubt. Expanding this a little bit. Hold on, folks. Okay, that's not bad. There we go. All right, we're back. And we're ready to attack. Heck yeah. So, what else we talking about here, folks? What else we got? So let's look at some other coverage about this. Let's see. Hollywood Reporter says coverage of Night 2. Typical rhythm. Yep. Yahoo Entertainment says another recap of Night 2, emphasizing Kimmel held nothing back. Addressing Trump's reaction to the show's return. And then Kimmel's YouTube is the show is posting the full comeback monologue and subsequent segments where the bulk of the viral views are occurring. Interesting. Maybe we do. Maybe that's the next step for the show. What do you guys think? You guys want to see us on there somehow? Let's see. All right, guys, give me a moment. We're going to set up a poll here. All right, so we got at least a poll going. We got a poll going here. Is Jimmy Kimmel telling the truth about the FCC and Trump trying to cancel his show? I mean, I think Kimmel's lying through his teeth at this point. I thought he was at least sincere, telling the truth, but the more I look into it, man, the more I think it's like, almost feels like a publicity stunt to get his ratings up, if anything. You know what I mean? I mean, that's smart. Act like you're going to be canceled. And then people are like, oh, I forgot this dude exists. He's still doing shit. Yeah. Mind you, Kimmel used to be funny. Legitimately funny. And now it's just like, it's ridiculous. It's flipping wild, man. Give me a few more moments, you guys, and figuring a couple things out. Trying to, at least. I mean, so my natural reaction to all this is it's obviously Jimmy is the boy who cried mega at the end of the day. That's what he is, man. Mary Berry says 100% of your vote says they believe Jimmy Kimmel. Don't you hate Jimmy? No. Look, only 2 people voted so far. They said yes, he's telling the truth. Look, if people think he's telling the truth, great. I don't think he's telling the truth. That's fine. I am curious, though. What do you guys think? Do you think he's lying through his teeth? Or do you think he's telling the truth? Matt P, that is such a... Oh, my God. Matt P, dude. What the hell? But yeah, no, I mean, there's only 2 votes so far. Oh, take that back. 4 votes. 75% say yes, 25% say no. Satega says Corky. Sure. It's a good poll so far. We're doing well. Thank you guys for simping. The more simps we have, the more pimps we get. If you can't simp, you ain't a pimp. Only pimps can simp. Welcome to the show, everybody. Bullfrog says discount Ed Sheeran. Absolutely. I'll agree with that. I don't want to agree with that, but I'll agree with that. I don't know. I think I'm an upgrade to Ed Sheeran. Nah. Ed Sheeran's a one of a kind dude. Cool dude. Do you guys think I'm too much of a simp for super chats? Is that a big deal? I don't think I simp enough, dude. I gotta simp harder, faster, stronger. If I ain't a simp, how can I ever be a pimp? You know what I mean? I think you guys see what I'm trying to say. There we go. I think we aligned that pretty well. Let's see. Oh, dude, Bitcoin is crashed. Bitcoin, my click coin, dude. It's now below a certain amount. Let's see what it is. The Ponzi scheme is dying. The Ponzi is done. Dude. It's time to celebrate, dude. The Ponzi scheme is being crushed. Bitcoin is crashing. Yes. Yes and yes. Thank goodness, man. The Ponzi's dead. Stock market's down. It's a good buying opportunity. Let's see. Yeah, I'll buy it at that price. Fuck yeah. S-bit. Sell one more S-bit here. It's a beautiful thing, man. Gotta sell that S-bit, man. Cypher Solutions is promoting Bitcoin again. Okay. Cypher Solutions says Bitcoin is Kang. The Kangs. And Bitcoin is king again. All right. Damn it, Cypher Solutions. What the hell? Well, I made a good amount of easy money just now. Heck yeah, dude. As you all know, I heavily bet against Bitcoin. It's something that I really love to do. I think Bitcoin is phony baloney dildo money. That is something I say on the show quite a bit. And yeah, I will always bet against Bitcoin for sure. But yeah, the harder Bitcoin crashes, I mean, the harder I get, you know? Damn, dude. Bitcoin. My click coin, it's crashing. Look at that, dude. Hell yeah. I'm making bank. Yeah, playing the volatility of Bitcoin, man, is the smartest thing I've ever done. Like, because Bitcoin can only go up so far. And the only reason it even went up to the $100,000 mark is because institutions got into it. That's the only reason, man. I think we're in for, look, if the stock market crashes, I've noticed that the S&P 500, for the most part, correlates very heavily with Bitcoin. So if the S&P 500 crashes, then so does the S-bit. No, sorry. So does Bitcoin. I feel like because Bitcoin has become so ingrained in the financial system and it's it's traded so heavily now, that when something that of real value like the S&P 500 goes down, so does Bitcoin. So there is a correlation I've noticed. It's not an exact, but hey, when the market crashes, I tend to buy during bear markets. So like right now, S&P 500 is crashing a little bit. Quite a bit, actually. But I'm able to buy it at good prices. You know what I mean? So it matters. All right, let's see what Cypher Solutions is saying. Cypher says top is in. How down is it right now? Well, let's see. Bitcoin for the day, it just crashed massively. It's down to 109,966. It's down 1.42% for the day. For the week, it's down 6.51%. My problem with Bitcoin is just how increasingly volatile it is, and that I wouldn't trust it with a 10-foot pole. Having said that, though, I'm going to sell maybe one more share of my S-bit just to be on the safe side, because what I like to do is when I trickle sell, I trickle buy. So when Bitcoin goes up on a bull run again, that's when I start betting against it. You know me, I'm an advocate of betting against Bitcoin because it's just not worth it in the end. It is phony baloney dildo money, man. It's just garbage. And I think most people with half of a brain at the very least can agree with that. But yeah, heavy profits right now. Heavy. Man, I love swing trading the S-bit though, mainly because it is so very volatile and it does allow me to make pretty good amounts of money here and there. So it's glorious, brother. But I am also swing trading the S&P 500 intentionally, just because it's not a bad one to swing trade, man. Oh, well. Yeah, the S&P's kind of hitting a low today. I mean, I'm always going to be buying the S&P. But yeah, part of my income is going to be from swing trading the S&P 500 at this point. And let's see. Hey man, Bitcoin's going to crash because Bitcoin isn't worth anything in the end. At the end of the day, man, Bitcoin is crazy. By the way, you new here? Tap the $sign for a super chat. Skip the line. I'll read yours first. Let's keep rolling. Cypher Solution says, I don't have a single clue. All right. So we got 7 votes on the poll. We need more votes on this poll, man. I'm actually surprised there's not more votes. So the poll says, is Jimmy Kimmel telling the truth about the FCC and Trump trying to cancel his show? 71% of you say yes. 29% of you say no. What's up with that? One moment. Cypher says, let's see. Anyone that is famous is a shit show waiting to happen. Charlie Kirk. Dude, come on, man. That's not a very good chat. I'm not a fan of that. That's some BS right there, bro. The crypto markets are crashing, though. That's a good thing. Hey, anytime Bitcoin crashes, dude. Let's actually, you know what? I'm going to end this stream, and we're going to go to another stream here in just a second, okay? See you guys in a second, all right? One moment, though. I got to check this real quick. Okay, there we go. I think it should be good. I think that's actually not bad. Let's, yeah. I think we'll keep that as it is. I think we're aligning everything perfectly. Sorry, guys. I'm just checking out something real quick. But we're going to end the stream here in just a second.